Today I'm going to go a review on two different macro lenses. Before I start, I wanted to tell you why I decided to get a macro lens. And I suggest that everybody kind of do this if you're thinking about getting a macro lens but you haven't really shot too much macro stuff. I would suggest trying the cheaper route first to see if you actually really like it or how often you're going to do it. I started out with buying a little small filter kit, and then I got some extension tubes, and then I've kind of felt limited, and I think you should do that before you purchase any lens. Are you limited with the gear that you have? All those filters and stuff and the extension tubes, they did a great job, but I just felt a little bit limited, so I wanted something really dedicated to macro photography. So that's when I started searching around on reviews and stuff, and I selected two that I thought were really good. First, we got the Canon version, the 100mm, and the Tamron 90mm. I ruled out just because some of the reviews I saw and different shots I saw in the reviews about the Sigma 105. It just didn't seem as sharp from the sample images that I saw compared to these two. These were very close, so I went ahead and purchased them both. I got them off eBay. They're both f2.8, and the aperture could go all the way up to f32 on both of these, so they're similar in that way. They both have 9 elements inside, and you can see when they're extended out here, they're both about the same length. The Canon version right here, this thing is a tank, nice, very good quality build. The Tamron seems a little bit plasticky, but it's a lot lighter. This Canon version weighs about 1.5 pounds, as this Tamron weighs just under a pound, 14 point something ounces. They both have the limit and full, I don't know if you can see that, but limit and full on their focusing with their autofocus. They're very similar. The Tamron version did come with a, I'll have it sitting around, it did come with a hood. The Canon version did not. But I'm not sure why they actually included a hood with that, because if you could see this, focus that in there. On both of these lenses, it's like that. It goes all the way, the lens is about 2 or 3 inches back inside the barrel, even when you're down. Even when you're down all the way collapsed, it's still a good couple inches back down in there. With the Canon, I went with the non-USM version because it was a little cheaper. I got this one off of eBay because I don't really need the USM. Most people, when they're shooting macro photography, well, they kind of do the same thing I do. Most people, not everybody, but you would switch it into manual mode, use the LCD on the back of the camera, and you could use the fine-tuning kind of magnifying glass to get that focus just right. So that's why I didn't think it. I didn't go with the USM version. A lot of people buy this lens, and they're going to do macro photography, and they're also going to do portrait photography with it. Well, it's a macro lens. I mean, it could do some decent portraits, but if you're going to be doing mainly portraits, why don't you get the 85mm? It just doesn't make sense to me. It's a macro lens, so that's what it's made for. And that's things I don't like about it is, like I said, I use the manual focus, and this ring is just, it's kind of cheap. And from this one, you see right here, you go almost 1.5 around to get a complete. From this one, it's like 3/4 of a turn. So you've got more adjustment on here. I just like a little shorter adjustment so you can get that focus real quick if you got butterflies or whatever. You're trying to get that focus real quick with this. That's a good way. So here's a shot of some bottle caps. They're both at the exact same settings on the camera. F32, ISO is at 1600, shutter speed was at 2 seconds. And they're also at their closest focusing distance. So the Tamron, if you look at the specs, the Tamron says it's like 11.5 inches is its closest focusing distance. Well, that's all the way to the sensor. So what I like to do is, since you're shooting with macro, it's going to be the end of the lens. So if you're kind of trying to shoot a bug or something, how close can the end of the lens get to that subject? So I measured it when I shot these. I got the closest focusing distance. The Tamron is at 4 inches. The Canon is at 4.5 inches. That's the measurement from the end of the lens to the subject. If you look up the specs, it will say the Canon is at 1 foot and the Tamron is at 11.5. So that makes sense why they're 4 and 4.5 difference there. I kind of tested the autofocus. Like I said, I probably won't use autofocus, but for the sake of this video, I just tested it to see which one might be a hair quicker. Well, the Tamron was just a smidge quicker, and a few different focuses I tried with autofocus. It also seemed a little bit more accurate most of the time. So, but they're really similar as far as that aspect is concerned. So if you're using this for something other than macro photography, a lot of people do, I'll show you what you could get as far as bokeh. These are both at 2.8. As you can see here, the Canon and then the Tamron, they're pretty close. It's just whatever you prefer, but they're so close to me as far as that's concerned. I just kind of ruled that out. And like I said, if you're going to do portraits, why don't you just get a portrait lens like an 85mm. Here's just a quick shot, the same shot about 5 feet away in the same settings. Let me say that the settings were about 5 feet away at f2.8, ISO 100, shutter speed at 3/20ths of a second. So after testing these out for a week, I decided which one I was going to keep. I went with the Tamron lens just because it's these are pretty much equal as far as image quality every way. The Tamron's just a little bit lighter. I like the focusing ring better, and just the ergonomics, the way it fit in my hand on the camera and stuff. So I'll be keeping the Tamron and selling the Canon. So it's going to be on eBay. So last note, all I have to say is subscribe, and thanks for watching.